Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
Woo, that logo. That logo. It's amazing. It's amazing. Welcome, guys. Welcome back to the Army Empire Podcast. We are excited that you are here joining us. We are live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. I can see it right there. So say hello. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us if you're excited to hear what it is that we're going to be talking about today. How's it going, Bernard?
Doing very excited. I feel great because it's for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's getting warmer here in Florida, right? We had a cold wave the past week. I felt like I was in New York for a while. So it's getting back to normal. So we're excited. That's one thing we're very excited about. And the second thing, I'm excited to take reverse roles this week, right? I'm gonna be a student. It's crazy because we were talking. I was at a big training in Miami this week. I was down there, and one thing he talked about is to always be learning, always have a student mentality, always be willing to learn a student. And one thing I got a chance, some of you guys may know, Liz and I were part of a networking business. That's how we got a chance to meet about a year right now and build such a tremendous relationship. Her and her husband, Robert, and my wife, Eileen, also. And we've heard that she does a lot of segments for us on education, on success, the right way to think. And she has so much to share. And I was like, oh, my gosh. So I was thinking, you know what? We want to hear from Liz because she did every week does an incredible job. But she was like, oh my gosh, we need to have her on. So I told her, listen, I want to learn. I'm going to be a student and you're going to share because she has so many great things to share. Liz and Rob own a couple businesses other than the social media tremendous following. She's building. I don't want to take your thunder, but you're building a church from scratch. Pretty much you're building a movement. Movement I've seen it happen. The past 3 months where maybe it was like 2, 3, 4, 5 getting together. Now within a couple of months, I see 20, 30, 40. And people need to learn from this. People need to learn how it is to grow anything because success is a language. Whether you're building a church, a movement, a business, you're building yourself, success is a language. And if you apply the same principles, whether you are in construction, financial services, or any kind of business, if you apply a church, or if you apply the same principles, it's gonna work. That's why if someone that's success always leaves clues, right? So there's things that people have done. So I wanted to hear from Liz. I want Liz to share with the audience. You're an incredible communicator. So take it away, Liz.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Listen, it's going to be a very candid conversation between the two of us, and we're going to talk about understanding financial leadership. Because I really feel that throughout these past 22, now this is the 23rd episode, I have been a student. I have taken so many notes. So I want to talk as if I am the person who has been listening to the podcast and where I am at this point in the 23rd episode. Everything that we've heard, everything that we've learned, what is it that we're doing with it? What is it that Bernard has been showing us? He's teaching us on how to understand financial leadership and know that all of us need to be leading our finances in some way. So I'm gonna jump into some things, and then Bernard, you just jump in whenever you wish, okay?
Absolutely, absolutely.
At the end of the day, you are the financial advisor, and you tell me. You can reiterate something, you could double up on something, because I'm going to want to hear what your brain is thinking.
Yes,
okay?
Absolutely.
And I think the audience does too, right, guys? Absolutely, absolutely. Hello and welcome. Thank you for watching. Share this with somebody, tag this to someone that you think that would absolutely enjoy this. So the core idea that I see happening in the Army Empire podcast is really understanding that leadership, financial leadership, is an ongoing process rather than a one-time fix.
Yes.
That's what I've learned because we've talked about investments, we've talked about annuities, we've talked about 401k and saving and being that 100-hour week and just being so strategic in those kind of things. So financial leadership means actively directing and managing your money instead of reacting to financial circumstances, because we all go through certain things in our life, but we need to be the ones to guide our finances, by investing, by being intentional in saving. Listen, I have my notes, and I even know that there are a few of you out there that have watched the podcast and have texted, hey, I finally caught up to all of the episodes. It's about having a vision of your finances and making intentional decisions, especially when you speak to a financial coach like Bernard, that they're able to tell us, okay, this is what you need to do in order to align your finances to your goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to align my finances to my goals.
Absolutely. And it's great, like you mentioned, it's all having a different relationship with money. If you I think we mentioned a couple episodes back, is just like if someone wants to get healthier, you need to have a different relationship with food. How do you see food? You have what's your perception? Like one thing's we've adjusted ourselves when it comes to that. So listen, instead of us eating to be full, just eat to be satisfied. And that's one of the first things to do. Because sometimes we eat until we're full, then like, okay, this is how we end up gaining weight over a period of time. It affects you. It's the same thing with our money. We have to have a different relation when it comes to money. How do we use money? Have a different perception of money. Money is how can I say that? Is we have to make sure we learn how to use money an effective way. Okay. Not to see a lot of times, and sometimes if you see money as a way to pay bills, you're going to be stuck there.
Ooh, yes.
You're going to be stuck there, right? If you see money is not a way to pay bill. Money is a way. People that are wealthy, the purpose of having money is to make more money, right? That's the purpose of money. But let's say if you're not someone that's not learning through the process, is they see it money as well. If you see my money as, you're always going to be paying bill, always going to be in the you're going to be like the gerbil, like a gerbil running around in a circle. You're running, putting out effort and not getting ahead. So like you said, it's all about navigating to that process, learning day by day. It's not an overnight fix. It's a process. We didn't get, let's say, a lot of us, we didn't get to bad situations overnight. So you're not going to get out of it overnight, but it's a process, taking those baby steps towards the right direction that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I love that. So we see that. And because of the podcast, we've been able to intentionally direct our finances to where we want them to go and understand that we're taking baby steps. Mm-hmm. We're having conversations. And I hope that these podcasts, these episodes are creating conversations between you and your kids, you and your spouse, you and your parents. Because that's the other thing is I noticed that finance and our financial priorities, they evolve as we go through different life stages.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Somebody's graduating, somebody's getting married, or we've even mentioned remarried.
Yes.
And what to do there, and having children and retirement. So I've heard you say all of those key points on growing and becoming a true financial leader is understanding also the different stages of life and being able to plan and have a plan that works now, that may not work in the next 10 years or 5 years, but that works now, and then adjust accordingly.
Absolutely. You're right. Our finances are involved, just like our health evolve. Our finances are always evolving also. So you always got to adjust. It's like I always share with the families that we help. So listen, just like when you go to a doctor, if you go to a doctor, you don't stay with the doctor you don't go one visit. Okay, I went to the doctor this year. I don't need to go for the rest of my life. No, you have to constantly be going back again every 6 months, maybe every year, every couple of months, depends. And the closer you get to be able to things will adjust, so you can adjust certain things. It's the same thing, just like our health, medical field is always evolving. The financial field is always evolving too. There's maybe a strategies that was maybe worked 5-10 years ago might not work right now. So that might change. So it's always be I guess in the loophole, find out what's going on, always want to learn, always want to grow. And that's so important. That's so important when it comes to your finances and be able to do that.
You've also mentioned a word that I do not like. It's a bad word. It's inflation. You've talked about inflations. You talk about the market changing and, economic downturns and things like that. That also is going to require you as a financial leader. I'm just saying what I've learned as
Absolutely.
a financial leader to be flexible on my financial approach.
Absolutely. 100%. Because like we said, there's three things that affect your money: is taxation, inflation, and market fluctuation. So you have to, those are things you have to take consideration. Taxation, find ways to get money growth tax-free, tax deferred, and minimize your tax as much as possible. Inflation is very important. Inflation, because is the cost of money. So inflation goes up every year. So whatever you save or invest your money has to be beat inflation. If inflation is beating your money, you're actually losing money. You don't see your account go down, but the buying power of your money goes down. So those are things we always have to take consideration. But if you take the approach that we talked about, as to make sure there's three ways, like have money, let's say immediate money, put money in a checking account, and also have different ways. If you went for 3 to 5 years, immediate, and also long term. If you take those 3-step approach, three different kind of accounts that you need, if you just very, very simple, that'll make a huge difference, and you'll be able to get on the right track to be able to make sure you take advantage of having growth of your money in the process.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the word proactive. A proactive leader monitors those things that happen in the economy. They monitor those shifts, or even in our personal life, those shifts that I'm monitoring, and I'm being a proactive financial leader by keeping these things, being aware of these shifts that happen, and I adjust my strategy accordingly. I don't know about you, but I want to be a proactive leader.
Absolutely.
Especially with my money, honey.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And this is exactly what we talk about is, see, a lot, like most people are reactive. When something bad happens, then they realize, no, it's before it happens. You have to know that things like that are going to happen. And before it happens, that's when you're able to, for example, when we talk about life insurance, we'll say, well, you see, you don't get life insurance when you're young and healthy, not when you're old and sick. The biggest challenge, people like, well, when they're sick, people call you, be super hyper, call me, like we spoke about again, life insurance protection, and they call me, oh my God, Brian, I need life insurance. Well, how come I need it today? Why? I got diagnosed with almost had a heart attack. So I'm like, it's too late, so you have to get it. A lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have enough money at retirement. And sometimes you're 58, 60. Yeah. There's not that much time to leeway. So, if you're 20s, 30s, 40s, we all know two things that happen. We all going to pass away. We just don't know when it's going to happen. Right. Mm-hmm. Number two, we know we're going to have to retire. We know we can't work for a whole life. So you need money for retirement. And number three, we already know, right, that a couple of things to react to debt is a challenge. So you have to build savings. The only way to minimize your debt is to build savings. If you build your savings, the reason people get into debt because they don't have a lot of cash accumulated. Yeah. So that's a challenge. So you start building savings. If you build savings, that the need for debt decreases. Okay. Yep.
And I love what Mika says here. That's why I left it up there, because we're in that part right there where we want to be proactive and not reactive, just as you said, which is so important. Yeah, you gotta, what is it that Alistair said? Yeah, you gotta get life insurance locked in when you're younger.
It's so true. People and it's designed, and here's what I tell people: that the price. There's two things that affect how much someone pays for life insurance: is your age and your health, right? So two things. Most of us, we're not gonna be any younger than we are right now, right? That's number one. And a lot of us, we may not gonna get any healthier than we are right now. Our bodies are not made to get healthier as we get older. As much as we think we'll be invincible, it's just not gonna work sometimes. So we have to get it when you're young and healthy. Earliest you get it, the less you pay over a period of time. And that's so true.
Yeah, and financial leadership is pretty much that, where you're rooting this discipline. It's a constant discipline of habits where you're budgeting, where you're saving, where you're investing, where you know that you have the life insurance already set aside, that's ready to go, and you've already sat with somebody to take care of those things. Even like wills and trusts, when we were here with Markeisha, and she chatted with us about a few things. So it requires that discipline.
That is so important. It's conversation we don't like to talk about. It's so important to have those conversations. Even wills and trust. I mean, I've seen people. I mean, there was even oh my gosh, the actor Black. He passed away. Black Panther. I forgot his name. Oh my gosh.
Yes, I know. Me too. Well, I know who you're talking about. Comment the name if you know. If you're watching.
Oh my gosh. The name just.
Actor. Babe, who's the actor?
Black Panther. Yeah. I mean, this is someone that was very successful. Had movies, millionaire, and he did not have a will set up. It created disaster. Even Prince, multi-million, I mean, didn't have a will set up, and it created problems. So those are a lot of things that we know it's going to happen. So doesn't matter where you have a little bit, start the process and change and adjust as time goes by, because it creates problems for your loved ones. Listen, I always tell people, if you don't have a will or trust set up, guess what's going to happen? The state, whatever state you're in, Chadwick Boseman, yes, absolutely. If you don't have a will or trust set up, I can guarantee whatever state you live in has a will and trust set up for you.
Ooh.
Bottom line, if you don't have some set up, you're automatically going to have, and guess what's going to happen? It's not going to be at the best interest. It's not going to be your wishes, and it's going to cost you a lot of money, and they're going to take a lot. Even if you have a little bit, they'll take as much as possible. So get it set up. Even if you have something, get it set up early enough. It's so important to have that.
Yeah, I'm excited that first of all that we met. I know that was a God thing. Like, we've connected with so many great people here in our community, and being able to have someone in your circle that is all about finances, taking care of those things, and your family, and when you're no longer here, just all of those things. I'm excited because I've been able to sit with you. My husband has sat with you, and we've done things for my mom. Even she has now life insurance, and she's saving, and we're all doing these things. And we need to celebrate. Listen to me carefully. If you're watching, to be a financial leader, you have to even celebrate the small wins, man.
Yes.
If you're putting $50 away every week, the small wins, celebrate them. And stay motivated and adjust if you're falling short on something.
Absolutely. It's like, how can I say? It's like everybody wants the big wins. Get small wins first, get the big wins. Like, let's say there's a Super Bowl, I think a week or 2 weeks from now, right? Guess what's going to happen? How do you get Super Bowl? You got to win the first game, second game. And the team that gets the most wins, guess what happens? Gets to the playoffs. Right. And the team that ends up going to Super Bowl. Right. So if you think about that, you have to get those small wins. Small wins equals the big wins. And everybody wants the big wins, but you got to get the small wins first. And guess what? Navigate your finances. It's like putting a GPS on. Sometimes you put the GPS on, and sometimes you take a wrong left, or you forgot to make a left. Guess what it's going to tell you? Recalculate. Right. GPS says recalculate, and kind of let's get you back on track. But you have to have a destination. The challenge of most people in their finances is they do not have a destination.
Where are we going?
Destination. That's so true. You need to have where are you going? You need to have an idea where you're going. And most people, the challenge that we talked about early enough, they have no idea where. If you ask someone, there's three numbers. There's three most important numbers that we all need to have when it comes to our finance. Number one is our income protection number, which how much protection we need. That's the first thing you want to have. The second thing you want to have is your debt freedom date. When will I be debt free? Right. And the third is your financial independence number. Is how much do I need by the time I retire so I never have to go back to work anymore? And the challenge, and most people don't know those three numbers.
Yeah.
They don't. Those are important. Just like your social security number, you need to know this is how much I need. This is my debt freedom. I have to become debt free. We got to have that. And as you navigate through your journey, we're going to fall off track. We're going to make mistakes. Listen, even us, even me, I make mistakes. I made a mistake a couple months, like, oh man, I should have done that, right? And we adjust. Just like we're not perfect. We make like, man, I should have done that. And when I think of that happens to all of us. But guess what? You don't beat yourself up. Let's recalculate. Let's just recalculate. Let's recalculate and always get back on track. The key is never lose sight of the goal. Never lose sight of where you're going, where you need to go. And that's the most important aspect when it comes to your finances, also in your business, whatever income you want to make. That's so important to have also.
So good. So good. I love that we have been equipped with knowledge to now make better decisions in changing our financial situation because we're a part of the Army Empire podcast, because we watch, because we come online on Tuesday nights. And if you watch the replay during the week, you're gathering knowledge that's going to equip you to change your financial status. And with this, we're going to close. Literally, this is all about working with a financial advisor and having somebody, a trusted partner, that's going to be able to keep you focused and remind you of, okay, are you investing? Are you saving? Do you have your insurances down? And that's really important to be able to have all of this.
Absolutely right. Liz, I'm gonna ask you a question, Liz, because because we talked about earlier. What are some things the past couple of weeks been talking about people have a mindset, entrepreneur mindset, ways to make more money, go after your goals. So important to do that. And check this out. We actually at the first month. We were January 1st, New Year. We are almost ready 2-3 days into the end of the first month. The first chapter of 2025 is done. It's time flies, right? And let me ask you a question. I was thinking about the other day is what are some of the books, because we want to equip people things that they can do to read better. What are some of the things that, like books, I say books that you've read that maybe impacted you, changed the way you think? Because we all know the difference between you and by next year is the books you read and people you meet. If you haven't read any new books or met any new people, you'd be same exact position you are right now. So what are some things that you've read? And I can piggyback on that also.
Oh, listen, top number one, Atomic Habits.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Atomic Habits is for me number one. I was actually referring to that book this past Saturday in the Business Brunch and Blessings. We were talking about that 1 degree shift, which is actually the same like with money, even if it's just $5, $10, 20, that 1 degree shift. If a pilot leaves out of New York and he's off by 1 degree from what the controller told him to go, he's going to end up, rather than going to Florida, he's going to end up where? In Texas. Because of that 1 degree. So that 1 degree really does make a difference. You may not see it at the moment, but with time, you're going to see your goals being achieved. Absolutely.
You're absolutely right about that. One thing I always talk about people, because someone asked you, what are books that you've read? The first book, if you want, there's different books impact you differently. And one of the first books I believe that everyone should read is the book of all books, is a good book, is the Bible. That's the first thing that I always recommend that you, every single day. Because believe it or not, people don't realize the Bible gives you instructions on every aspect of your life, and also business, ways to deal with money. And yes, everybody thinks it's not just spiritual, they get instruction on how to think the right way to manage your finances also, or build a business. Gives you different perspectives, how to build a business. That's the first I recommend anybody to read at least every day, something a couple pages, a chapter, and learn from and what you can get out of it is so important. Because believe it or not, if you read about 3-4 times a week, it impacts you tremendously. If you one time, it might a little bit, but second a little bit, but I find if you 4 times a week, you see your spiritual, every aspect of your life is totally going to change. Just four times. So important. Exactly. It compounds. Just like money compounds, everything compounds also. All right. So important. That's the first. The second book I think is very important to read, which was, because every success book, if you look at the principles, came straight from the Bible. One of the first book that I read when I made the decision I want to become successful, change the way I think, is something called Think and Grow Rich.
I was going to say that, and I was like, no, let me say Atomic Habits.
Yes, Think and Grow Rich. Thinking about Napoleon Hill. Yes, such a powerful book. Very simple book. Was written, I think, 1920s or 30s. But it's just a blueprint for success. Blueprint on on how to think, different ways to think about success a certain way. It's such an incredible book because he studied people back in late 1800s, early 1900s. So it was an incredible book to read, first book to read, which is important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Another book that's so important is it's crazy. That book is What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. There's a book that says What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. I think the name is Shaq Hemstetler. It's a great book. And what it tells you is the things that we say to ourselves. Because think about most of the things that we say to ourselves is very negative, right? So it kind of teaches you how to say the right things to yourself. This is so important to have that book also. And the kind of books I would also read that's important is autobiographies. Autobiographies are important to read because what it tells you, it gives you people that became successful. It gives you all the obstacles they went through and how they overcame it. So autobiography is I'm a sports person, so I like sports. So I read things on coaching, right? Because we're developing an agency, so we want to know how to coach people the right way. So books like autobiography is very important because it gives you, because a lot of us, the challenge that people think, the big misconception people have when it comes to success, they think that most people are successful either lucky or nothing ever goes wrong. And that is such a biggest lie. The reason the people that have gone through the most failures are the ones that have success.
Correct.
And the big lie that we've been told growing up is the opposite of failure is success. That's the biggest lie we've been talking. Like, okay, if you fail something, that means no. The opposite of success is quitting. Opposite success is quitting. Failure is very important for us. You need failure to have success. You cannot have success without failure. You gotta want to fail forward so many times, okay, for us to go forward. And then we have to reframe our perception of success. The challenge, most people do not have a wrong perception of success because school's been taught to them the wrong way, and they need to reframe that completely. And failure is part of success. You know when you're on track to become success and when you face obstacles. Yeah. That's when you know. If you're not facing any obstacles in your journey, anything that you do, you are not on track. You are on the wrong track.
So good.
Absolutely. So I would recommend those books.
I think what we're going to do is that we'll go on the Facebook page and I'm going to grab the books that we just mentioned and I'll post them on Amazon, the Amazon link, so that people can just jump on there and they'll be in the comments below this episode so that you can go ahead and click that, because man, there's some good books out there.
Yes. Incredible
like,
books.
One of my other favorites is Who Moved My Cheese?
Yes, that's powerful too. Real cool.
That's powerful too. That's a powerful book too.
Simple books.
To change.
Simple books. And even a book like how to Win Friends, Influence People, right? Great book also, right? Those there's so many books. And start small. You don't have to read a lot. I'm a slow reader. I hate people read like a book a week. I'm like, I can't do that. It takes me a month. I need to read like 10, 15 pages a day. And so if some people read fast. If you read fast, great. I'm just not one of those. I'm a slow reader. So, but read 10 pages a day, like a chapter a day. And if you look at it, think about it. If you read a chapter a day, average book has 200-300 pages. So you read like 10. At the end of the month, right? You read a book. At the end of the year, you've read, guess what happened? You've read 12 books.
Yeah.
12, 15 books.
We'll do that. We'll add the link so people can purchase some of those books. If you're connected to this podcast, chances are you are growing and you're going to continue to grow. That's great. Thank you so much, Bernard. This was an awesome episode. Great idea.
Yes, absolutely. Very excited. And next week's going to be even better. Next week, we're going to talk about kids. The one thing I've been telling, I had a couple of people tell me, listen, I want to get my child to save more money and to different, and we're going to talk about how money works for kids, right? From different ages, the ways we can teach people. Because one thing I come across so many times, Liz, when people that are older, for example, say, listen, I wish I had known this when I was younger. I wish my parents taught me about this when I was younger. I wish I knew this years ago. And even parents like, man, talk to my kids, talk to my son, talk to my teenager, talk to my, right? And so we wanted to have a special, Eileen, my wife's going to help me out with a couple, a session for little basic things, How Money Works survival guide or something. How to teach people, how to teach young kids, your kids how to properly have the right mindset. Because if we teach them early enough, they can avoid a lot of mistakes that we've had. Our goal is to make sure our kids and our grandkids should do better than us. They should not be in the same position. They're supposed to do better. That is our goal. So we're gonna equip them with the things that they need to know for them to improve, be a lot better than us. Absolutely.
Oh, it's going to be so good. You don't want to miss it. Join us here next Tuesday, 8:00. Thank you so much, guys. This has been awesome, awesome, awesome. My life leveled up. Yep. Every month tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. We love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks, Bernard.
See you. Take care, guys. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition, and until then, keep building your empire.